This is my review of the high-grade Gundam Age 1:144 scale Baqto. And the reason I decided to pick up this particular model kit is I like the mobile suit design a lot. It's a good, heavily armed, really awesome looking mobile suit design, in my opinion. So that's the reason I decided to pick it up. And it's funny because I have not picked up any of the quote-unquote good guys or good mobile suits because they don't really interest me that much. I mean, they're not bad, but the enemy mobile suits really fascinate me. So anyways, this is the Baqto, and as you can see, it has the beam rifle, which can go over the shoulder, and apparently it can also go in between the legs. It does double as sort of a tail when it transforms into flight mode, which we'll take a look at briefly in this review. So it has the beam rifle. It has the design elements for the, they call it the diffuse beam cannon. And this is this area here in the chest. And if you watch my unboxing, you know behind this area there is a yellow translucent piece of plastic. And as you can see there, you got orange stickers. And it has a very distinctive design, like a flower petal design there. So that's the diffuse beam cannon. And finally, you do have the beam Vulcans, which are mounted in the palm of the hand. Now, they do move. They are actually a separate piece of plastic. They're on a ball joint, so they do move around. And there's one in each hand. Now, speaking of the hands, the only really accessory you get with this high-grade kit is an extra pair of hands, which simply have the beam Vulcans molded into the plastic, but obviously they aren't articulated. So there you go. Just a look at the Baqto. Articulation-wise, well, let me talk about the head. The head is on a ball joint, and I had the very same problem I have with the Baqto that I did with the Gafran, which is to say that it's a very, in my opinion, a very poor connection. It's a very loose connection. You have this ball joint here, but if you look in there, there is no like polycap or anything like that to kind of receive or mesh with that ball joint. And so what happens, in my case at least, is it is very, very prone to falling off of the neck joint, which is very annoying. So I'm kind of to the point where I'm just going to super glue it on there. You don't really need to have it move around so much for the transformation, so it's going to be super glued on there. It's something that I think that Bandai needs to fix because I have the same problem with the Gafran, and I'm pretty sure I built it correctly, so it's unfortunate. You have articulation at the shoulders. Now it does have a extra piece here that allows the shoulders to go out. You can see between the actual shoulder and the torso there's actually a separate piece, a joint there. But you got rotation at the shoulders, pretty much standard articulation. The arms can go out, swivel at the upper arm, bend at the elbow, as you can see there. Of course, the hands are on ball joints. You do have articulation at the waist. You do have forward and backward motion for the hips / legs, bend at the knee, and you do have articulation at the ankles. You can see there quite a degree of articulation actually. Of course, the tail here / beam rifle articulates. It's pegged into the back at this location right there. You have articulation at that point, at this point, and this point. So you do have quite a range of motion for this beam rifle. The actual neck joint here, and I'm referring to this piece of plastic here, it actually does move back for the transformation into flight mode. And of course, you do have the wings that will go back like about that degree for the again for the transformation into flight mode. You can see you have a joint here as well. So it's fairly articulated, which is good. So with that said, as I try to put the head back on there, we'll take a look at the actual transformation into flight mode. So here is the Baqto in flight mode. We'll do a little 360 quick here. Take a look. By the way, this stand does not come with the kit. I borrowed it from another kit, but it does show off the flight mode pretty well. Now, I'll show you from the manual what I did and what I did not do, because I do skip a few steps here. Step 1 I skip, and step 2 I skip. Basically, they're telling you to swap out the hands. I don't do that. Here they tell you with the head, you're going to rotate up the sides of the head, so they're in that position right there. And they tell you to basically put the this neck piece, which was forward, to the back. So in flight mode, the orientation of the head is going to be facing straight ahead as opposed to looking down at the ground. Then you have the transformation of the tail, which is fairly basic. They tell you to bring up the skirts, which become the wings in flight mode, as you can see there. And the final step is to separate the two halves of the bottom part of the leg, revealing sort of a pseudo inner frame there. And I did go ahead and attach, obviously, this to a stand here. And this is the result you get, which is, it does look like a flight mode, I have to say. The favorite feature I have about the flight mode is the way that you can separate the legs, and I'll show you that. Hopefully that will come across on camera. There actually is some detail there. If you saw my unboxing, you'll know what it looks like, but there actually is some molded black plastic, which sort of gives a inner frame feel. Let me go ahead and just remove this, give you a better look in case you hadn't seen the unboxing. Give you a better idea what it looks like here. There we go. So there's a look at the pseudo inner frame, and you could probably panel line this with silver or something, or dry brush it, make it look really cool. But there you go, just a look at the flight mode for the Baqto. Alright, thanks for watching. This has been my review of the high-grade Gundam Age 1:144 scale Baqto.